Welcome guys. So before us we have maths paper 1 for the year 2024, and we are dealing with the paper that was written by the GCE candidates. Now we are going to consider this one as part 2, since we did part 1 where we covered questions from 1 up to question 7. So this one will start from question 8. So let's have a look at the first question. So the question 8a reads, a fair die is rolled once. Find the probability of a 4 showing up. So the good part about question like this one, the answer is always the same. Whether they ask you to find the probability of maybe a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6 showing up, the answer is always the same, because there is only one chance for a number from 1 up to 6 to show whenever you are dealing with a die. So you say probability of 4 showing up, so is equal to, so we only have 1 over 6. So the point is, for a question dealing with a die, the probability is always 1 over 6. So you don't have to say 4 over 6 now, because there is only one chance of giving us a 4. Right, so we move on to question B. So question B, we have in the diagram below, ABC is a straight line, we can see. AD is equal to 5 centimeters, BD is equal to 13 centimeters, and angle BAD is equal to 90 degrees. Find the value of tan DBC. So D is the initial, B the midpoint, C. So the angle that we are solving for is this angle. And as we can see, this is an exterior angle. We can't find the exterior angle, so our task is we need first to find the interior angle. Then I'll tell you what to do with the interior to give us the exterior. So here I'm going to put theta. So if this is theta, the distance opposite to this angle theta is called opposite. Then the longest is called hypotenuse. Then the distance next to the theta is called the adjacent. So we have AOH. Then from there, we are going to write the 3 trig ratios. We have SOHCAHTOA. So from the 3 trig ratios, our focus will be on TOA, because we are dealing with tan. So tan theta, so tan of the angle is equal to, we need the opposite distance, then divided by the adjacent. So opposite is given is 5 centimeters, but we don't have the adjacent. So what are we supposed to do to find the adjacent? So as long as 2 distances are given, to find the third distance, you need to use what we call Pythagoras theorem. So I'm going to redraw a diagram for this right angled triangle. And I'm just going to focus on ABD. So from this, I'm going to use some letters. So I'm going to call this distance A, B, C. So whenever you're dealing with Pythagoras theorem, use this formula. If you are solving for C, is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. If you are solving for B, this will be B squared is equal to C squared minus A squared. If you are solving for A, is equal to C squared minus B squared. So as we can see, we are solving for the distance A. So since we are solving for the distance A, we are going to say A squared. So the first letter is what you are solving for, is equal to the distance for C squared minus the distance for B squared. So C squared will be 13 squared, which is 13 multiplied by 13, minus C, what of B? B is 5 times 5, which is A squared is equal to 13 times 13 is 169 minus 25. So A squared is equal to, the difference between these two numbers will give us 144. We need to take the square root of this and also here. So A is equal to square root of 144 is 12. So here we have 12. So we can now go back to our trig ratio. So we have tan of theta is equal to, opposite is still 5, adjacent we have found it to be 12. So remember, tan ABD, so the inside is 5 over 12. Now what will be the outside, which is DBC? So to find the outside, you just have to introduce negative sign to the given value. Therefore, our final answer will be tan DBC. Since this is the interior, this is the inside, to find the exterior, the outside, you just say negative 5 over 12. So according to math paper 1, that is correct. Right, so we move on to question number 9. So question number 9, we have two questions. The first one is coming from the topic of sets. Then the second one is under transformation. So let's first begin with the one with sets. So we have been given set Q 2, 3, 5, and 7, P 2, 4, 6, and 8. So I think what you are supposed to do is, let's make a visual representation. So from this Venn diagram, we have two sets. We have set set P, as well as set Q. So I'm first going to start with the intersection. So the elements or element that we can find in P and Q, we have 2. So 2 is common. So 2 will be here. What else is common? So there is no other element which is common. So from the first set, we have 3, 5, 7. So 3, 5, 7. Then this one will be 4, 6, 8. So if we cancel 2, 3 is gone, 4 is gone, 5 is gone, 6 is gone, 7 is gone, 8 is gone. So the 9 will be written on the outside, same as 1. Now after this is done, remember our task is to list P complement intersection Q. So this simply means that all the elements of P must not be part of our solution. So to make this simple for us, I'm going to shade P because P is not needed. So I'm going to shade P, but the relationship is just between P and Q. Do not focus on the elements outside these two. So just focus on P and Q. So if we cancel the P, what elements are we remaining with? So we have 3, 5, 7. So this is our final answer. Right, so we move on to question B. The diagram below shows trapezium Z and trapezium T. Describe fully a single transformation which maps trapezium Z. So this one, I mean trapezium S. So this is an object because it's what changed into another figure. Then this is trapezium T. So this is our image because this was what was formed. So maps simply means to change. So now let's look at our object. So our object is our S. Then this was the image. Now if you look at this carefully, this distance is facing with this distance. So this distance is facing with this distance. Then this one is in the same as this one. So we can see that this image of T is a reflection of object O. So it's same as you are looking into the mirror. You are going to see someone exactly like you with the same position. So if this is the case, we are dealing with reflection. What else are we supposed to have for us to give the description? So we need to find what we call the reflection or mirror line. So now the mirror line is the line between the object and the image, in such a way that the distance between the object is equal to the distance between the mirror line and the image. So as we can see, this distance here is equal to this distance here. So the mirror line is x-axis. So in terms of the equation, x-axis same as y is equal to 0. So to describe, I'm going to say trapezium S was mapped onto trapezium T by reflection under the mirror line x-axis, in brackets we can say y is equal to 0 as an equation. So this is our answer. Right, so we can now move on to question number 10. So question number 10 is coming from the topic of matrices. So we have question 10a given that. So we have the matrix for A, 2, neg 1, 3. So we want to find the transpose of matrix A. So the row of the first matrix becomes the column of the second matrix. So that's a formula. So the 2 here, negative 1 here, 3 here. So that's our final answer. Then for question B, we just need to find the product of matrix A and matrix B. So begin with matrix A, matrix B. So same procedures. So we are going to first see row by column. So the first row is this one times this column. So I'm going to say 3 times 1. So when going to the second column, you don't have to put the addition. So we go to 3, the same, this number, times negative 2. So we go to the second row. So this will be 2 times 1, then 2 times negative 2. So to find our final answer, we'll say 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So as we can see, it's very simple. It's something that you can manage as long as you practice a lot. Right, so let's move on to the next question. So the next question is question 11, and as we can see, we have a question coming from the topic of earth geometry. So we have the diagram below shows positions of towns A, B, and C. So let's have a look at the first question. So the first question is, if the time at A is 0.5 hours, so point A is 0.5 hours, then what is the time at B? So for this question, you need to look at what is the longitude for point A. So the longitude for point A is 60 degrees east, so is for point B. So whenever you have 2 points, as long as they are lying on the same longitude, then they are going to share time. So for the time at B will also be 0.5 hours, because these two are at the same longitude. So as you can see, it's very simple. Now we move on to question B. A plane flew from town A to C. in 5 hours. So from A up to C, the time that it took for this plane to move was 5 hours. So what was the speed of the plane in knots? So as long as the units are knots, it simply means that you need to use the distance of nautical miles. So the formula is speed is equal to distance divided by time. So time is given 5 hours. Then what else are we supposed to do? We need to find the distance. Then after that we can find the speed. So we're going to say distance is equal to theta. So theta will be the difference in latitudes multiplied by 60. So you only use this formula if the units for the speed will be knots. So theta, since we are dealing with town A, so town A is on latitude 60 degrees north. Then town C is on latitude 30 degrees south. So since the first latitude is located northern part and the second one is located southern part, we need to add for us to find the difference. So say difference, which is our theta, is equal to, so you add 60 plus 30. So as we can see here, we are going to have 90. So this 90 is what I'm going to substitute here. So you say 90 times 60. So whenever you are multiplying numbers like this in paper 1, so the first number has a 0, the second number has a 0. So I'm just going to write these two zeros, 0, 0. Then I'm going to multiply 9 times 6. If 9 times 6 is hard for you, 6 is same as 3. 3 plus 3 is still 6. What of 9 times? Is 9 times 3 is easy for you? Let's say it's easy. So if it's easy for you, we can say 3 times 9 will give us 27, plus 3 times 9 also give us 27. Then 27 plus 27 will give us 54. If this seems hard for you, you can still maybe simplify. We have 2 plus 2 plus 2 is still 6. So we can say 9 times 2 will give us 18, plus 9 times 2 will give us 18, plus 9 times 2 will give us 18. At least you can add these numbers. So 18 plus 18 is 36. 36 plus 18, we still have 54. So the final answer for distance is 5,400 nautical miles. So now this is the distance that we are going to use now here to find the speed. So remember, time is given. So the distance is now 5,400 over 5. So we are going to say 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 40 is 9. So should be 190 knots. This is our final answer. Actually, I think I made a mistake here. So this should be the final answer. Let me just scroll down. So the final answer should be speed is equal to 5,400 over 5. So 5 into 5 is 1. There is 1. So since 5 can go into 400 without giving us a remainder, I'm going to put a 0 here. Then 5 into 400 will give us 80. So this is our answer. Right, so we can now move on to question. So this was just the repetition. So we just need to move on to question number, should be 12. So question 12 is coming from mensuration. So the first one is coming from mensuration. Then the second one will be from the similar figures. So the diagram shows sector A or B whose area is 34.65 centimeter squared. The angle subtended at the center is 81 degrees and the radius is r centimeters. So given pi 22/7, find the radius. So we just want to find a distance called radius. So number one, we need to apply the formula. So area of a sector is equal to theta, representing the angle, divided by 360, then pi r squared. So what's our area? So area is given. We have 34.65 centimeters squared is equal to theta is 81/360 times pi is 22/7 times r squared. So when you substitute numbers like this, you need to find the ways of reducing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break some numbers here. So to break some numbers, we are going to say here we have 34.65, then 81 is same as 9 times 9. If you want, you can just use the same way. Then 36 is 9 times 4. So 36 is 9 times 4, which is 9 times 4 is same as 360. Then 11 times 2 is still 22/7 r squared. So the reason why I've done this so that I can cancel this number. Then here we have 34.65 centimeters squared is equal to 9/40. 40 same as 2 times 20. Then here we have 11 times 2/7 times. So we can cancel the 2. So on top we have 9 multiplied by 11 times r squared. Then 7 will be 7 times 20 times 34.65. Right, so let's now move on. So we are going to say 9 times 11 times r squared. So we are going to multiply 20. So first I'm going to say 34 point, let's ignore the point. So 34.65 times 20. So instead of writing 20, let me keep this 0, just write 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. So 0, we keep the 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1, 13. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1, 9. 2 times 3 is 6. Then we add this 0. So if we multiply 36.65 times 20, this is our product. Now remember, this has the area as a decimal, so I'm going to count 1, 2. So here we're going to have 1, 2. So we have 693.06. Now from there we just need to multiply by 7. So even for this one, I'm going to ignore the decimal. Okay, so this should be 693.00. Remember, this 0, not 6. I made a mistake. So let's just ignore this. Then we're going to multiply by 7. So times 7. So 7 times 3 will give us 21. 1, we keep the 2. 7 times 9. So 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 7 is 56. 56 plus 7 is 63. So 63 plus this one is the 5. So 5, we keep the 6. Then 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus 6 is 48. So I'm getting this number. So I'm going to say 485.1. So that is the product of those numbers. So what we are going to do is, so I'm going to get this 4,851. Then we divide by, let's say we can just use 9. So I'm just going to use 9. So we're going to say divided by 9, divided by 9. So 11 r squared is equal to, so 9 into 48 is 5, since 45, 9 can go into 45, remainder 3. Then 9 into 35 will give us 327. Then remainder 8. So 9 into 81 will just give us a 9. So the final answer is, not the final answer, but at this stage is 539. Then we can divide by 11 and also here by 11. So what's r squared? R squared is equal to, so we need to divide 11 into 53 will give us, this should be 4, remainder 9. Then 11 into 99 is 9. Then the square root. So r is equal, what is the square root of 49? Is 7 as our final answer. So as you can see, you just have to make sure that you practice on your manipulation of numbers. It's very important you develop that skill or how to play with numbers. So let's have a look at the last question for this video. So given that y varies directly as x, so directly as x, as you can see, these two are in the straight line, and inversely, so inversely it means it has to be a fraction, inversely as 1 over square of z. So square of z, it means z must be squared. So language is very important. So square simply means you need to raise it to the power 2. So we have y is equal to, so after a cosine, introduce the constant of variation. Then we put the x, this x here, over z squared. Now to find the constant of variation, x is equal to 8, y is equal to 4. So where there is y, we put 4. K is what we are solving for. X is 8 over z is 2 multiplied by 2 over 1. We cross multiply. So this will be k. This will be 80 times k. Then instead of saying 4 times 2, 8 times 2, 16, now can just say 4 times 2 times 2. It's still the same. Over 8. 8 is same as 4 times 2. So if you want, you can just use the same way, or if you want, you can break the numbers like the way I'm doing, so that I can cancel this, I cancel this, I cancel this, I cancel this. So the final answer is just 2. So value of y when x is equal to 18 and z is equal to 3. So the equation is y is equal to k x squared over z. So y is equal to k is 2 x squared, sorry, z must be squared, not this one. So x is 18. 18 is same as 9 times 2 over z is 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So we have 2 times 9 times 2 over 9. So I can cancel this. Therefore, the final answer is 4. The last one is values. So as we can see, there is an S here. It means two numbers. So say y is equal to k x squared over z squared. Y is 2, k is 2, x is 25. Why am I putting squared here? So 25 over z over 1 will cross multiply. So 2 times z squared is 2 z squared. Then 2 times this over 2 over 2. Z squared is equal to 25. We take the square root. Z is equal to plus or minus 5. So that's our final answer.